Alright, internet, what is up? It's your boy Alan, back with another video, and I'm in some random Brooklyn neighborhood. I don't even know where I'm at, but I chose like this quiet side street so it'd be easier to vlog and talk. And I just got back from Europe. I went to this festival called Tomorrowland, and I think I'm retired. I am no longer a festival guy. I'm washed up. I'm washed up. Unk can't do this anymore. But Tomorrowland is in Belgium, so it got me thinking about traveling to Europe. And I've done a lot of traveling in Asia. So for context, I've traveled in Europe. I've been to Portugal, Italy, Germany, London. I guess it's called Brexit, so you can't really consider Europe anymore, but been to London. I've probably been to one or two other European countries that I'm missing. Well, I've been to Belgium now. And then I've also traveled Asia. I've spent a lot of time in Asia. I've done Manila, Japan, Taiwan, Hong Kong. What else? China. The list can go on. So just want to set the stage here that I spent a good amount of time throughout my life across all these countries. How I think low-key, or what it's like traveling versus Europe versus Asia, and why I think Europe is kind of overrated, and actually why I would rather prefer traveling to Asia instead of Europe. And I think for me, Europe is, we can start with architecture. And I think Europe has really cool old architecture. I mean, I think Europe has cool architecture, but after a while, you see an old church, some cathedral that some old guy spent 100 years building or 80 years building, and then you see some cobblestones, and then you see another old building, and that's kind of the extent of the architecture, it seems like. But some of it is really pretty, but most of it's just a bunch of old buildings. And after you've been to enough European countries, they all kind of look the same. So for me, I like some diversity when it comes to architecture. And then I think when it comes down to the hotels or accommodations, usually you're gonna get some old building. And I mean, I like old buildings, don't get me wrong, but the issue with traveling in Europe in the summer is they don't believe in AC. I don't know why they don't have AC. They're just down to suffer for, I don't know, a month out of the year, and they'll give you a fan and some water at the hotel or something. But I'm like, dude, I need an AC out here, bro. And then I was reading some article that a lot of people are actually, they like pass away from heat stroke when they're traveling in Europe. And I just don't understand why most of these accommodations provide some kind of AC. I think it's really hit or miss. Sometimes you'll get a hotel with AC, sometimes you won't. And then sometimes they market it that they do have AC and they don't, so they scam you a little bit. But European summer, I think it can be pretty heinous. You could just pass away. You could pass away just because it's too hot. But I'm a big fan of AC. That's also why I like traveling to Asia. But also the issue of traveling to Asia is it's so freaking hot and humid, so they have to have AC. But at least you know you're gonna have AC. And I mean, what I do like about Europe is the culture of eating outside. They have this in Vietnam too, but it's more, I guess, developed, if you will. They're eating outside, sipping wine, just talking and hanging out all day. And it's a little bit harder to sit outside and chill in some Asian countries just because they might not have infrastructure built out, or they just don't really have that culture. So Europe, I think that's why people love traveling to Europe. They really have that outside culture, the community space. I mean, Asia has that community space, but just sipping, eating, drinking outside, Europe is pretty damn goated at that. And I think that's why people love traveling to Europe. It's just that chill vibe, makes you feel like doing nothing and relaxing. And I think when I think about the food in Europe, it's pastries. I love pastries, but I can only eat so many. And then it's like pastas, baguettes, other carbs. What else do they eat? Escargot. Escargot is cool. And then, I mean, it's also really hard to find protein there, but it's basically just a bunch of carbs, pizzas, and I think anytime you get like a pasta or pizza, it's always gonna be, I don't know, 8 out of 10. I've never had like a 9.5 out of 10 pizza or pasta, so I feel like there's a cap when you're eating these European kind of foods. And I mean, I enjoy pasta and pizza just like anybody else, but after a while I'm like, let me get some white rice or something. Let me get some chicken. I mean, they got chicken too, but it's not the same. But I think the food kind of gets, I don't know, it's kind of mid. It's all kind of mid in Europe. I don't think it's that good. Nothing really stands out to me. I don't know, a charcuterie board, bruh. I don't even like cheese like that. You're gonna give me like these thinly sliced pieces of ham. I'm good. And then I guess when I also think about like traveling in Asia, I'm Asian. I like the food more. I like the dim sum. When you're in Vietnam, I love a good banh mi or a rice and chicken plate. And I just like, it's always like some rice and meat dish, and they add some cool sauce to it. And that's what I enjoy. I enjoy that kind of food. I'm not just trying to eat only carbs all day. So that's on the food front. And then I think also the value I think is better in Asia, especially with the US dollars, like traveling to Japan and then Taiwan and China. Everything's just significantly cheaper, and then you get usually a nice modern accommodation, and those are the things I do enjoy. I also enjoy like really good value on my dollar. It's not like I'm getting ripped off in Europe, but I know the dollar just goes a lot more further in the Asian countries I've been to versus Europe. Like Europe is not like dirt cheap. It's also not super expensive, but, and I think like lastly, the people, for me in Europe, it's hit or miss. Like I went to Florence, some guys were being racist to me, and then recently in Belgium, I went to this kebab shop and they wouldn't serve me. I was like, bro, we're both people of color, just serve me, dude. So I think I experienced more racism in Europe. In Asia, I mean, maybe they're being racist to me, and I just, especially when I go to Korea, man, those guys are racist, dude. Yeah, I think Korea's kind of racist because me and my boy, we went to the club, and then we got rejected by so many clubs because they didn't allow foreigners, so there's like Korean only clubs. And then I was like, okay, yeah, that sucks. So I was like kind of racist, and I guess some parts of Japan are a little bit racist too. So maybe I'm like, it's a moot point, like every country's racist. But I guess I felt it more in Europe, probably just because I stuck out like a sore thumb. But yeah, I think every country's a little bit racist. Just a little bit, just being honest with y'all. I think I just also like being around people that look like me. So there's a bias there as well. But overall, those are kind of my main reasons in terms of why I think traveling to Europe is a bit overrated, and also why I prefer going to Asia. But I don't know, like everybody wants to travel to Europe, it feels like. European summer, I'm like, it's okay. But usually when I'm leaving Asia, I'm like kind of bummed out about it. Like leaving Thailand, I'm like, you're going up the escalator at the airport, you're kind of sad. I was like, oh, I miss Thailand already. Like those massages are great. And then everybody's just so nice. But when I was leaving Belgium and usually Europe in general, I'm like, all right, I gotta get out of here ASAP. I literally paid more money so I can fly out a day before. I was like, I gotta get out of here. But in Asia, I'm like, let me just, let me delay the flight. Maybe I'll miss my flight on purpose. That's like more of my vibe. But I don't know, maybe it's a hot topic, but I think Asia's better value. I like the food more. I like modern amenities. After a while, I can only see so many old buildings and old churches and old white guys all the time. And I'm like, oh, okay, we can move on to modern amenities. And they have AC in Asia. But what I really do like about Europe is, actually, there's nothing better than Europe when you get a little e-bike and you start going somewhere and you're just vibing in the sun. That's pretty damn great. But it's not enough for me to go back to Europe willingly all the time. Like I'll go now these days if there's a certain event what else? If I have to go over there for work, I'll go. But I'm not like, oh, please get me to Europe ASAP. Well, that's my stream of thought video for today. Just kind of let it rip this time, off the top of the head. And thanks for tuning in. I'll see everybody in the next one. Peace.